The art of kindness. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a kind and wise king. He was loved by all for his fairness and generosity. Among all his possessions, the king's most cherished was his beautiful garden. This garden was filled with rare flowers, sweet fruits, and a crystal-clear pond. The king would often spend time in his garden, enjoying its peace and beauty. One day, a group of wandering monks arrived at the palace, tired and hungry from their travels. The king welcomed them into his garden and offered them food, shelter, and rest. The monks were very grateful for the king's kindness and blessed him before leaving. Word spread quickly about the king's generosity, and soon more travelers began to come to the kingdom, seeking help. The king, always kind-hearted, welcomed everyone with open arms, offering them what they needed. However, not all the travelers were sincere. Some began to take advantage of the king's kindness. They demanded more than they needed, trampled the flowers, and even polluted the beautiful pond. Despite the growing chaos, the king continued to give, hoping his generosity would inspire others to be good. But instead, the garden slowly turned into a wasteland, and the king was left feeling sad and regretful. One evening, a wise sage visited the kingdom. Seeing the ruined garden and the sorrow in the king's eyes, the sage approached him. "Great king," the sage said gently, "your heart is kind, but kindness without wisdom can lead to harm." The king, eager to understand, asked the sage to explain. The sage smiled and said, "Kindness should be like a river. It must flow freely, but within boundaries. It should give life, but not allow itself to be polluted. You need to learn when to say no and protect what is precious. True kindness is about balance. It's about understanding the needs of others while also taking care of yourself. If you give too much without thinking, you will deplete your own resources and cause yourself harm." The king thought deeply about the sage's words. "But how will I know when to say no and when to give?" he asked. The sage replied, "It takes mindfulness and awareness. Watch carefully the intentions of those who seek your help. Genuine need is different from someone trying to take advantage. Practice paying attention and use your intuition. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. True kindness comes from a place of strength and wisdom." The king realized that in his desire to help others, he had forgotten to protect his garden. He had given too much without considering the consequences. Determined to make things right, the king began to rebuild his garden. He set boundaries, making sure to help only those who truly needed it. He learned to say no when necessary, and in time the garden flourished once again. The flowers bloomed, the fruits grew in abundance, and the pond sparkled. The garden became a symbol of balanced kindness and wisdom. The king had learned that kindness is a noble virtue, but it must be guided by wisdom. By setting boundaries and practicing mindful generosity, the king created a kingdom where both he and his people could thrive in peace and harmony. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Practice mindful generosity.